I hate that we have to go from a 50-minute fun video about 15 questions atheists can't answer to an actual terrible thing about an 18-year-old woman getting sentenced to 90 days in jail for basically doing nothing. Like, literally just nothing that matters. But apparently there are people angry about it, so we have to cover that. So, 18-year-old Nebraska woman sentenced to 90 days in jail for burning a fetus after having an abortion. Apparently, cremation bad. Apparently, cremation real bad. We don't like it when people cremate. That's just bad. An 18-year-old northeastern Nebraska woman was sentenced Thursday to 90 days in jail and 2 years of probation for burning and burying a fetus she aborted with her mother's help in a case watched by advocates as a slew of states moved to restrict abortion access. Oh, so you mean that thing we told you would happen? You mean that thing we said would happen? Where we told you that it doesn't actually change the fact that people get abortions? When you make abortion not legal, abortions will still happen. They will just happen. They'll just happen not safely. Like, that's all you're gonna have. It's just unsafe abortions. If you don't want back alley abortions, let abortions be legal. That's the only option you have. Celeste Burgess of Norfolk was sentenced in Madison County after pleading guilty earlier this year to concealing or abandoning a dead body. 2 other misdemeanor charges of false reporting and concealing the death of another person were dropped in an agreement with prosecutors. If you are a prosecutor... Actually, I have to wonder. Hold on. Who presses the charges here? The fetus? The fetus is gone. Why would it press the charges? Who presses the charges here? Says the court specifically finds that while probation is appropriate, confinement is necessary because it would depreciate the seriousness of the crime or promote disrespect of the law. My guy, the law don't mean shit in this case. It doesn't. Okay, look, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm not trying to call for violence when I say this, but if you have a prison holding somebody for 90 days, or a jail holding somebody for 90 days for doing, again, basically nothing, I'm just gonna say, Home Depot has hammers, and they do a lot of good work on brick and mortar. I'm just saying, the jail might not need to be a thing anymore. If there's enough people and enough hammers, you can make a jail go away. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that's what ought to happen in a situation like this. Burgess and her mother, 14-year-old Jessica Burgess of Norfolk, are accused of working together to end the pregnancy. Yeah, that's how abortions work. The abortion, well into her 3rd trimester, violated Nebraska law at the time that banned any abortion after 20 weeks of gestation. Have you ever asked yourself why an abortion wasn't able to be had before that point? There's lots of reasons why. But, none of those reasons apparently matter to conservatives. Officials have said Jessica Burgess ordered abortion pills online, which she gave to her then 17-year-old daughter in the spring of 2022. Jessica Burgess pleaded guilty earlier this month to providing an illegal abortion, false reporting, and tampering with human skeletal remains. Yeah, all 2 inches of them. In exchange for her plea, charges of concealing the death of another person and abortion by someone other than a licensed physician were dismissed. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm beginning to feel really, really jaded with the idea that medication should only ever be controlled by a licensed physician. I understand that in a perfect world, that would be something that everybody has ready access to, and that would be great. But we don't live in that world. We don't live in a world where licensed physicians are things that people can readily afford. We live in a world where that is kept behind a paywall that a lot of people can't afford, or for them to be able to afford, they have to dig themselves into literal life debt. So, I just have to ask a question. Why is it an okay thing? Oh, wait a minute. I just had an idea. The person who presses charges in this particular scenario, for the 90 days that the woman's stuck in jail, people should build a brick wall around their house. I mean, if she's got to be stuck in jail, maybe you should be too, because you're a fucking asshole. Again, I'm not saying these are things you should do. I'm saying that in a hypothetical perfect world, like the one where we actually have access to licensed professionals in healthcare, that's what would happen in this scenario. Norfolk police opened an investigation into the abortion following a tip. According to an arrest affidavit, the person who gave the tip, they are an asshole. Plain and simple. Police secured a search warrant to gain access to Facebook messages between the two in which prosecutors say the woman discussed terminating the pregnancy and destroying the evidence. Police then found the burned fetal remains buried in a field north of Norfolk. Alrighty, so here's where I'm going to have to go ahead and tell you guys something very, very important. Please, I beg of you. I'm begging and pleading. I am simply doing everything I can when I tell you this. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, do you talk about anything like this in a way that can be traced. These are conversations that should be had in person, not through the use of text messaging services of any kind. You do not do these things in a way that they can be tracked back to you. That is simply a mechanism for your own survival. I'm not saying that the people involved in this deserve anything happening to them because they did not take this very basic safety advice about internet security. But please, if you are doing anything, if you are planning anything, if you are doing anything like, oh, I don't know, planning a protest, if you're doing anything that would be very important, like, you know, just little things like doing abortions, which are perfectly fine for you to do because holy shit, it's your body. You should be able to evict anybody out that you want. If you are doing that, then maybe you should not use a messaging service. You should have those conversations in person every single time. And in an ideal world, turn off your damn phone when you do it. Because, trust me, that thing is listening. It's not listening in such a way that people can legally scrape that data that I'm aware of, but it definitely is. My Amazon wish list is certainly populating itself awkwardly for reasons. Then couldn't the cops get in trouble for desecrating a grave? Heck if I know. In one of the Facebook messages, Jessica Burgess instructed her daughter on how to take the pills to end the pregnancy, according to court records. In another, Celeste Burgess wrote, "I will finally be able to wear jeans," according to the documents. The U.S. Supreme Court last year overturned Roe v. Wade, which for 50 years, I need to bring this up so you guys can read it as well, sorry, which for 50 years had established the constitutional right to an abortion. Nebraska lawmakers who opposed Republicans' efforts to severely restrict abortion access in the legislative session that ended in June repeatedly cited the Norfolk case, saying that it shows state prosecutors will target women who seek abortions with criminal penalties. Yeah, they're right about that. And again, I'm not saying you should build walls around people who do shit like this, but, you know, certainly there's people who can find tips about people who give tips, right? Anyway. Republicans in the officially nonpartisan Nebraska legislature failed this year to enact a 6-week ban on abortions. Officially nonpartisan. That's a funny joke. Say it in a different funny voice. But it later passed a 12-week ban after adding it as an amendment to another bill, which of course was a bill made to limit transgender care for trans youth. Oh boy, don't I love living in this country. Opponents say that that violated a Nebraska constitutional requirement that legislative bills stick to a single subject. Ah, right, Republicans, famous for playing fair. What's that video that Innuendo Studios did about going high and going low? Democrats should stop trying to go high. Start playing by the exact same dirty rules that the Republicans are playing by. I'm begging and pleading with you. You're already a politician. You're not fucking pure. The ACLU has sued to overturn the abortion ban on the transgender care bill. And that is all that there is on the article. Holy farking crap. This is the exact kind of thing that you expect to happen after Roe v. Wade falls. This is an older case that happened in July, and I did not cover it when it happened in July. But this is indicative of stuff that is going to continue happening over and over and over and over again now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Isn't living in America great? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm livid. Insert a video tagline here. Welcome to the fan art section. We are here, and that is a sweaty gymnast Suris with a gymnast washer gun. I am on that side of the internet now. That's cool. That's cool. The next one we have here is from Americhick. A few weeks ago, I mentioned my doggo was watching Suris with me. Today, we had to surrender her because we can no longer afford to take care of her. I'm always used art as a therapy to get past the hard days, so I drew the happy memory. Thank you for making my last few weeks with her a happy one. That is very, very sad, Americhick, but I'm happy that my channel was able to give just a little bit of something to you during those times. The last one we have is from Lunar Muse Serenity, saying outfit number 2, and now I return to the Aether for another few months. Well, thank you all for your fan art submissions. That's probably a good enough time to go to the credits. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability that Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.